Welcome to What's Your Story? Each week I bring you a guest who is authentic with insights and practical advice that you can put together and use for yourself immediately. Now, you may notice we have a different set today, and we have a very special guest, me. Over the course of the show, many of you have sent in questions that I believe we need to answer. So today, I'm going to answer the questions that you sent in. And no particular order, but we want to address them so that you get those questions answered and maybe give you a perspective on the show. So let's get started. The first question is, why this show? Why are you doing this show? In my day job, what I do is I try to work with people to help elevate their preeminence so they get more influence and can get the outcomes that they're looking for in their business and in life. This show gives them a platform to get the message out, to amplify the message, to reach the audience they want. They can use the show in their social media to get more followers so they, in the long run, can reach the people that they need to reach for their business. What do your guests have in common? That was one of the questions that was sent in. And let me just go through some of the points that I think I came up with that fit. All of them have reinvented themselves after experiencing a down period or a bump in their careers. Many had been underachieving what they believed they could do. They lost momentum. They weren't getting traction in their careers. Many were suffering from what I call the chameleon effect. Chameleons change their external look to fit the environment they're in so they don't get eaten. We as human beings change also to fit into the organizations in which we work so that we can live up to the expectations they have of us for our behavior, for their culture. We all do that. And in the process, I've found that sometimes we lose who we are. So a lot of my guests at one point or another had lost touch with what I call their authentic self. And like you, they needed to understand what it's going to take for them to be successful moving forward in this particular world. Very simple question. Why do I wear this lapel pin? A number of you have asked that. This is the lapel pin of Beacon, a networking organization in the Delaware Valley made up of executives and professionals who subscribe to the fact that we need to network for life. We need relationships in life, in work, that will help sustain us as we move forward to accomplish the goals that we want in life. Beacon. And if you need more information on that, feel free to reach out to me. I'll be happy to put you in touch with the right people. Charley, do you wear makeup on the show? No. Charley, who's inspired you? Now, I ask that of every guest that comes on the show. For me, it's Simon Sinek. And about 8 or 9 years ago, I encountered him for the first time. I've had the pleasure of being in his company and chatting him up. But he's the guy that introduced the whole concept of your why. What is your purpose? What drives you? Why are you here? What is the difference you're trying to make in the world? That significantly impacted me at a time in my life where it was well needed. Let's hear, a number of you want me to answer the questions that I ask my audience. You want to hear my answers to my questions. So let's start. Charley, what is it that you do outside of RVN TV? So I have notes, and if you don't mind, I'm going to refer to them. I help executives and professionals, like many of you, to gain a distinctive competitive advantage in this marketplace. I make the fuzzy clear, the unknown known, the complex simple, and the invisible visible. All through meeting with people, talking to them, because one of my gifts is listening and understanding and seeing things that they themselves are unaware of. With this newfound clarity, I can help the clients navigate through these turbulent waters. We live in an era with an acronym called VUCA: volatility, uncertainty, complexity, and ambiguity. It affects our work life, and it also causes us oftentimes to get off track. How do we survive in that kind of an environment to move forward? I started my business back in 2002, PMA, Personal Marketing Associates. And I wanted to awaken in high potential executives and professionals their superpowers so they can unleash those on the world. I put them in touch with the best version of themselves, and we together laid out a plan of action to get them from where they were to where they need to be. I've often been compared to an archaeologist going on a deep dig with my clients to uncover those hidden superpowers, the things that define their future as well as their past. Clients tell me that I inspire and empower them to move forward on their journey. Now, one question was somewhat challenging, but I welcomed it. What qualifies you to do this kind of work? If I called you up and I said, I'd like to tell you that you are one in a million, I'm sure you would feel very gratified and very good about yourself. I got a call one day, and I was told I was 1 in 12 million. A colleague of mine works for the Gallup organization. Gallup organization is famous for an assessment called Strength Finders 2.0, where you identify out of 34 documented strengths what your top 5 strengths are. This colleague took those 5 strengths and overlaid them on the kind of work that I do for a living and other people in their sample of people that have taken the assessment. It came back that I was 1 in 12 million, uniquely qualified to do the work that I really love to do. Very reassuring. What are my superpowers from this assessment? First, I see dead people. What do I mean by that? When we talk, I see what you can't. In the words you give me, in the ideas you share, I'm able to connect the dots and be able to come up with ideas and insights that will be helpful to my clients. I'm then able to design a plan forward because my strength is called strategic. And I'm therefore able to put the plan together to get people to their end game where they want to be. I gently guide them through this process because according to the Gallup assessment, I am an activator. I get people into action. Now, what supports all of this is a strength called learner. I am a continuous learner. If I'm not learning something new today, I'm falling behind. So that supports my clients because I keep them current as to what's going on in the field they're in and the things that they need to do to be more competitive in the field. I also curate ideas and concepts and principles from a far-ranging number of other areas, such as music and art, things that can relate to what they're doing so they can better understand and communicate their unique value to other people. This equips me through this process that I call an inside-out process. Our future is in our past. If we can unearth our past and discover what our true self is, it'll make our future much, much more promising and rewarding. Next question. What do my clients get out of the work they do with me? I ask that of all the guests on the show. My clients discovered their purpose, their why. Simon Sinek again. They realize that when they communicate with other people and they're trying to get business or land a job, that people do business with people they know, like, and trust. And if all we talk about is what they do and how they do it and what great results they get, we're not making that heart connection that people are looking for. They want to do business with people they trust. And if we don't understand what our purpose is, why we're on this planet, it's going to be harder to connect with people. We need to take those ideas and weave them into our collateral material, in our business pitches, in all interactions that we have with those that impact our work. The truth is, when we help people discover their superpowers and apply them in the service of others, everybody benefits. We'll feel good about ourselves, our clients feel great, and their clients feel great. Next question is, what is my journey to now? We asked that of all of the guests that come on the show, a sense of what got them here. In the late 80s and 90s, if you punched into Google, I don't think Google was around then, but if you did, what would have popped to the surface is award-winning sales leader, and my picture would be there. However, that wasn't enough. Something was missing. Something just wasn't right. I'd gotten sucked into someone else's playbook, again, that chameleon idea, where I felt underappreciated, undervalued, and I was underperforming. Back then, if you Googled my name, you would also see the words lost, stuck, and unfocused. I'd show up at the very top of that first page. I was far from being the best version of myself, a version anchored by my true north, with a higher purpose and a sense of my authentic self. See, I had hit an inflection point in my career. 5 jobs in 6 years. Lots of anxiety, self-doubt, and uncertainty. And now we're going to take a break, and we're going to hear from our sponsors, and I'll finish that story when we come back. Stay tuned. Welcome back. We were talking about my journey, its ups and its downs. There was an aha moment on a return flight after a failed interview for a job in Chicago. I was listening to my Walkman. Yes, you heard that right, my Walkman, not my iPod, my Walkman. And the flight attendant was giving the instructions. He said, put your mask on first and then help other people. Suddenly, I got it. The problem was me. I had to take care of myself first before I could help other people. I was trying to help other people, but I was not the best version of myself at that particular time. Now, there had been signals along the way, glaring flashes of the obvious, but trapped inside these various jobs I had, somehow I had missed them because I was focused on results, production, achievement. I had started by asking all the wrong questions, looking for answers in all the wrong places. I really struggled, and I started to reawaken some early memories that sort of gave me answers. So let me take you back to first grade. Imagine a classroom with 60 first graders. Correct, 60, all lined up in rows. I was the letter T, so I was in the far row next to the window. Now, I always finished my lessons quickly, and my first grade teacher would take advantage of me and send me off to mentor others in the room who were slower, because back then you only moved as fast as the slowest person. One day, she came to me and she said, hey, go over and help Mary Ellen Bracken. Now, Mary Ellen Bracken was the smartest and prettiest girl in the class. And I was asked to rescue her in her moment of need. Hold that thought. We're going to go to commercial. Hold it thought. I'll be back in a few moments. Thank you.
Solid rock. And everything in between.
Look in the window.
Now that's New Jersey.
Burlington County College.
Is now Rowan College at Burlington County.
Still the same great faculty.
At a community college ranked top 50 in the nation.
Basically, we earn more and pay less.
RCBC students are accepted at Rowan University after graduation.
And get a bachelor's degree for around $30,000. Online and Mount Laurel students get a 15% Rowan University tuition discount.
And have many scholarship opportunities.
So you earn more and pay even less.
Rowan College at Burlington County.
Your path to success.
They are the greatest fighting force the world has ever seen. But what does it take to strengthen our service members? What does it take to let them know that we stand behind them, wherever they are? What does it take to bridge the distance and keep them connected to family, home, and country? And what does it take to prepare them for their future when their service to the nation is complete? What does it take to strengthen our service members so they can be the greatest force for good in the world? It takes a force. Be a force behind the forces. Share a message today at force.uso.org.
I want to be a contender. I want a warm belly to...
Welcome back to What's Your Story? My story today in answering the questions that you've sent in while the show has aired. Where we were leaving off was that lovely person called Mary Ellen Bracken. Mary Ellen had gorgeous red hair, big blue eyes, and my first grade teacher had asked me to go over to her and in essence rescue her in this moment of need. So I took my chair and I dragged it across the room very noisily. Everybody in the room knew where I was going. And I sat down next to her. Now, I don't know what the subject was. I know it wasn't math because I wasn't that good in math. But we began to work it out together. And there came a moment where she turned to me with her big blue eyes and she smiled. She got it. Timmy, that was me, that was my nickname, had made an impact. We made a difference. I had wakened her up. She now figured it out. Mission accomplished. See, when we make people feel significant, we feel even more significant ourselves. When we're being a chameleon and doing it for other people in order to survive, we're not getting the meaning out of the work that we're doing. Now, that happened in first grade, but I did not discover that until I was well into my 50s. But it was sitting there, buried in my memories, but it was an important clue to what I was capable of doing with my life, which is helping other people discover what they need to discover to have the impact that they want to have. And it's a simple calculus. When we give, we receive. By discovering our best version of ourselves through this inside-out process, as I mentioned, we are then empowering ourselves to do more, to create the legacy that we're looking for, so we have success and we have meaning in life. Okay, let's move on to another question. Charlie, I like your glasses. And they ask where I got them. Ralph Lauren? No. Costco. I had an operation about 2 years ago to fix some cataracts, and I needed to get reading glasses. Never had reading glasses before. So I went in, I was shopping in Costco. I saw these, I picked them up. Suddenly, they're making a fashion statement. How lucky was I? Next question. Why do I do what I do? What drives me? What's my why? See, I believe that we're all here, we all have gifts, we all have talents. Most of us don't understand what they are, let alone apply them in the service of other people. And I believe that if we can get to people's superpowers, and we get them to believe in them and utilize them properly, we can make a big impact and change on the world. And part of this process is to understand what makes us different. What's our personal brand? What's unique or different? What makes us stand out above all else? See, difference matters to people. Just think about when you purchase a product. You're not looking for, is it the same as? You're looking for what else can it do beyond what the other products can do. We're looking for difference. Whether we're looking for difference in price, value, we're looking for difference. We need to understand what our difference is so we can communicate that to others, because that will help generate the know, like, and trust so necessary during these times to make meaningful business relationships happen. I like to transform clients, seeing them move from one point in their life to another where they're having the impact that they want to have, not only in the work world, but also in their family lives. Their spouses have told me, she's different, she's not the same. He's much more energetic. And all I did was help them find out who they were. See, I get meaning and significance from walking my clients through that process. I get energized by it because I see that change, either one-on-one or in groups. The outcomes are always the same. They get what they want so they can impact other people. Let's move on. Charley, when you work with people, who's an ideal client? What are some of the results that you get for people? Now, I've hinted at some up until this point, but I want to share a story with you of someone that really grabbed hold of this idea, this inside-out process, and has turned it into a winner for himself. See, I started with a mission to awaken inside people those superpowers. My process is based upon purpose, to find a distinctive value. I also embrace a concept called paying it forward, found in the book The Go-Giver by Bob Burg, a national bestseller. The people I work have a sense they want to give in order to get. Not quid pro quo, not taking, but actually giving without the thought of getting anything in return. And research has indicated people are just as successful with that philosophy as they are with the taker philosophy. One example is a 40-something who started a Philadelphia office for a Midwest accounting firm. It was a valuation practice that they wanted to bring to the Philadelphia area. Now, he started out as an office of one, much like Kevin Costner when he was sent out to Fort Wilderness in Dances with Wolves. You're out there on your own, no life raft. Over time, he formed an idea that people purchased valuation services based on the lowest price. And when I met him, it was beginning to impact him to the point where he thought he had no value. In working together, we uncovered what really made him have value for other people, what that value consisted of. And think about it. A valuation expert who doesn't feel he or she has value. That was sad. But I was able to guide him through the same process, the inside-out process. And this is what happened. He uncovered what distinguished him from other vendors. He developed and implemented a strategy to build his brand in the Philadelphia marketplace, not around price, but around value. He grew his practice, as I said, from an office of 1 to an office of 20 within 18 months. He published a book, the theme of which is that individuals have value, just not physical property having value. He was recruited by a regional accounting firm to establish a valuation practice for them. All this because he got a different perspective on himself, understood his authentic self, and put it to good use. Now energized, he's better positioned for his end game, and he's moving toward that particular point with a confidence. He knows who he is and why he's doing what he's doing. Next question. This is an odd one. During one of the shows, I had a Band-Aid on my face. And the question says, Charley, what was up with that Band-Aid? My wife had spotted what looked like a mole on my face, and she thought it was growing. So she made sure I went to the doctor. They did a biopsy. Absolutely nothing wrong. So today, no Band-Aid. Charley, what difference do you offer in your practice that others don't? All I can talk about is what my practice is based on. It's marketing based. You can't sell anything to anybody anymore. I believe that. People that buy your services have already gone to the internet, done all their homework. When you show up, They're looking for something different. They're looking for a partner. They're looking for someone to educate them, be with them to help them make an informed decision. And marketing yourself versus selling yourself is a very important part of that process. I'm very possibility focused. I march in on the army of optimism. I'm yes and, not yes but. People that are yes but slow themselves down. They don't accomplish what they're capable of accomplishing. Yes and moves us forward together. And finally, the personal brand is absolutely at the center of what I do. You are unique, you are different. People must understand what that's all about and how it's going to benefit them. Sometimes they don't even know what they're looking for. As the Rolling Stones said, you don't always get what you want, you get what you need. Authentic people are satisfy the need, that most buyers are looking for. All right. Hopefully this is helping you and your knowledge of what's your story. Now, if you know people that you believe would benefit from being on the show, please reach out to me. At the end of the show, I'll give you some contact information to be able to do that. We want to give people a platform to tell stories that move others to action and can make a difference. So what's the takeaway? The takeaway I'd like you to have today is that difference creates opportunity. It doesn't stop opportunity. When people understand what makes us different, it answers many, many questions that they have. Oftentimes, the difference is something they never knew they needed until you mention it, whether it's on your LinkedIn profile, your website, etc. Find your tribe. Another takeaway from the show today, I hope. Craft your right message, talk that message, and you will attract people who have similar values, passions, beliefs. They're the ones you want to partner with. They're the ones that will get you ahead. They will be your best customers. Embrace the why. Take time to discover the why. Go to TED.com, type in the name Simon Sinek, S-I-N-E-K. This weekend, watch that video. It will have an impact on you for certain. And think about how your why can change the world. We're all here to have an impact on the world. So, it's time to leave you. But before I do, I ask you, if you have questions of me, keep sending them in. If you want to speak to me personally, you can reach me at 610-304-0939. We'll sit down, have coffee, we'll talk about you, your situation, to try to enable me to see what other people can't see, to see the dead people, to connect the dots, to help you come up with answers so you can get a better sense of clarity, get the proper message so that you can execute a plan of action to get you where you want to go. So again, thank you for tuning in to What's Your Story, and we'll see you next week right here on RVN TV. Thank you.
A big house.
How do I look? Do I look good?
I want to play hard.
My nails done once a month.
I want